Welcome back to RetroB8 and welcome back to my Commodore 64 Wonder years, where I look back at the games that I used to absolutely adore playing as a kid. This week we're looking at the year 1986. So we're going to start off this look at the year 1986 in 10th place with Fist 2, The Legend Continues. I remember one thing that grabbed me immediately when I played this game, when I loaded it up for the first time, was just how atmospheric the music was. Melbourne House, the people who were behind Fist 2, they had a similar idea as to what was done with Barbarian 2, which was to take an original fighting game and inject it with an element of exploration. Personally, I wouldn't say it quite reached the heights as Barbarian 2, but they had a really good try at it, and I must admit, when I played this as a kid, I really did love it. Into 9th, and we have Ceti from CRL. One of my favourite things about Ceti is absolutely nothing to do with Ceti, and it's the fact that it used to have Invader Load on the version that I used to play, which I absolutely adored. But getting back to the game, yeah, it definitely took inspiration from games like Elite and Quake -1, which were also right up my street at that time. I did find it difficult to get into when I first started playing it, but with a little bit of time and effort, there's such a real quality game in there. Now, I'm not one really to use the term hidden gem. However, if I was, some people may consider Panther to be a hidden gem. It's certainly a game that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. Obviously, you can see the resemblance to Blue Max, which is a good thing for me because I absolutely loved that game as well. But the best part about this was, it only cost £3, and that was well within my pocket money range. Now we come to 7th, where of course, it's International Karate from System 3. When released, this game was the best in its class. Now, I only say was because pretty much I would say the only game to better it was IK+. Now, of course, everyone back then was going to compare this to Way of the Exploding Fist, and yep, that's pretty unavoidable. However, International Karate, in my opinion, was definitely better. And just one last thing to mention quickly. Yes, this is one of Hubbard's best tunes ever. Now we move up into 6th, and it's Aliens. Now, this is the US version of Aliens, and this is the version that I enjoyed better. Now, I only say that because I'm a huge fan of the Aliens franchise. I'm a huge fan of Aliens. It's probably my favourite film of all time. And this game just seemed to be much more immersive, and it just gave it a way better feel of the actual film. But this is one of those games that does tend to polarise people, so let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Do you prefer this one, or do you prefer the European version? Now we're into the top half, we're into 5th, with Leaderboard Golf from Access Software. In 1986, for your £2.99 on the Kicks budget label, this will give you 4 18-hole courses to play on, with up to 3 other players all playing at once with 3 different skill levels. There's a few instances with my gaming where it means absolutely nothing to do with real life. In real life, I don't play golf, I don't watch golf, however, I love to play golf games. I really put that down to how good Leaderboard Golf was, and for me, it was the view that you get now. This really paved the way for future golf games for a long time to come. In 4th, we have Firebird's classic, Thrust. I remember the first time I saw Thrust. I thought graphically it was incredibly basic, there was no sound to it, and I thought there's no way I'm going to like this game. Then I played it for the first time. All I can say is this is probably a classic example of gameplay being priority over graphics and sound. A classic game that's incredibly addictive and absolutely 100% will you get the I just need one more go feeling from this. Now we're into the top 3, and we have the Action Flight Simulator Ace of Aces, which was published by US Gold. The Commodore 64 was a wash of games that involved World War II, and well, in this one, you were sinking U-boats, shooting down V-1 rockets, destroying trains in this completely absorbing World War II flight game. The game was really well presented, and I remember it having like so many different types of missions that you could do. The only downfall, of course, to this was it was a multi-load on tape, so I would definitely recommend this being a disc game if you do play it. In second place, we have Gauntlet, which was one of my favourite games in the arcade. Now in the UK, this was published by US Gold. Despite being a little bit buggy, it still provides a great rendition of the classic Atari coin-ups gameplay. You can control any of the 4 characters and there's an awesome 2-player option. This game brings back some serious nostalgia for me. It literally is Sunday afternoon at my mum's house, playing it with my best friend at the time, Barry Naggs. We used to literally play this for hours, sometimes leaving the computer on overnight so we could come back to it the next day. And here we go, this is it, number 1. My favourite game that I used to play that was made in 1986 is the classic Gunship from Microprose Software. I'm pretty sure everyone's very aware of how good Microprose were at making simulation software, but wow, did they hit it out of the park with this one. For me personally, I would class this as probably the most immersive simulation game on the Commodore 64. And I don't say that lightly, because there is some absolutely fantastic games out there of a very similar ilk. I really hope that you've enjoyed this look back at my Commodore 64 Wonder years in 1986, the games that I used to love playing. Please, in the comments, let me know yours, and of course, if this is your type of thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel for future 8 and 16-bit content.